And again, I guess we're just on this topic of technology. I mean, you think all these things are developed only for convenience? Facial recognition software, Face ID, Touch ID, all the stuff, the biometric scanning, and it's not just recognizing a picture of your face. It's like with the LiDAR sensor on the front of your iPhone or whatever. People don't even know that LiDAR is throwing out invisible dots that map the terrain of your face. They know the terrain of your face. I mean, how do you think they were able to you were still able to open your iPhone with a mask on?
That's right.
And all that stuff. It's because they can map the terrain of your face. So all these things that are having, it's like if you think all these companies just have pure, wonderful, utopian intentions, you've lost your mind. I mean, like,
did you guys see the Alex Jones clip that he just put out about how he got a phone call from somebody in TSA that he knows, and they went and had coffee, and that TSA was saying that so the video basically says that somebody he knows who's high up in TSA called him and was like, we need to talk so that I can tell you something you need to tell other people. And they said, we just had a meeting that TSA told us that it's going to become a regulation for TSA employees to wear masks again, and that by December they're going to require all people flying to be wearing masks again, and they anticipate that before the first of the year we'll be in full COVID lockdowns again.
Yeah.
So I started looking into I was just reading some of the things online because obviously Alex Jones has like a questionable reputation in regards to whether or not aliens are going to drop in. Yeah,
really?
But,
they're international demons.
I give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he's a good guy. So
likes pizza.
But I started looking and there's a lot of people that believe. Probably the number one thing that I found, other than the fact that there's going to be another COVID variant, is that they believe the government's going to shut the internet down. They're going to find a way to shut the internet down. And they were putting some statistics out, and I don't know how you would prove them, but the death toll that it would cause to shut the internet down just for a couple of weeks is higher than I think we would anticipate.
Yeah, the thing that if you look at it, there's been attempts for so long to try to find a way to regulate the internet. It's such a force. I mean, the internet is such a force.
Yeah.
They've been trying for decades to regulate it in some way, shape, or form. It's just how do you do that? I mean, first of all, you have the dark web.
Yeah.
I mean, China's done it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like they've shut the internet down.
Do you think they could
know what I mean?
now? It feels
Shut
like
it
in America,
down?
it would be like putting a genie back in a bottle to do what China's done with the internet, because we're so far. I mean, there's things now that the government, there's websites they can't get down.
Well, look at here. Well, the reason I don't think so, and Ralph, you could probably, everything you do for work in the last two jobs has been regulated by the internet.
Correct.
I mean, there's so many privatized corporations that have to have the internet functioning for them to function. I don't think that that.
I'd say 90%.
Yeah, you couldn't do. There's so many corporations that what they do, if they didn't have internet access or if there was no functional internet, their company would go defunct.
So, me personally, I don't think. It's just too much money at stake. Too much money. I mean, you think about the stock market.
Yeah.
You can't, without the internet.
You don't think they proved it during COVID, though, that they don't care about crashing the stock market? Because it creates, the thing that I look at is I don't think that they would shut it down for good, but I mean the upside for financial gain that it poses for them to crash the stock market and then allow it to build back is innumerable, the money that they can make.
And I guess that's the thing. How long are you talking about shutting it down for?
But the thing is, when you say shut it down, you have to define what that means.
Yeah.
What does it mean to shut down the internet? Do you mean we take all satellites offline? Because are you going to tell every provider, Comcast, all of them, you're going to tell all of them, just stop providing for your companies? I mean, if you think about it logically, it would have to be in some form of a fake or it would have to be some kind of a fake attack or something,
right?
You know what I mean? If people were talking about
Russia's getting in through the internet,
or the pipeline thing that they did, when they did all this thing with and then they had the supply chain issues with the trucks and all that stuff. There's a lot of people who believe that stuff was a farce, and so how are you going to do it? You have to do it in such a way that there's not an outcry, because you don't want riots. You don't want people to just going off because you've just stripped their freedoms from them or whatever. So, I've heard people talk about EMPs and all kinds of different stuff. Using electromagnetic pulse bombs and stuff to shut down technology. I think though, with all, like you said, with all the money at stake and these corporations that depend on all these different things for their money, it is a big deal. Now, with the election coming, I mean, you may have I think that's the bigger thing, is the sharing of data and information.
Yeah.
That they hate. They hate the fact that people have a way to speak out and be heard, that they can't limit it. They can't stop it.
Yeah, it's like the internet, YouTube alone is a greater, and I really do believe this, is
and
a
now
greater
X.
technological advancement in human history than the Gutenberg press.
Oh, it's touched far more people.
Right, and it's not that I have to, if I wanted to get information out, if this podcast had to get out, we don't have to arrange the letters, press it, put 1 million copies out.
Even if we didn't have to use the Gutenberg press, imagine just using like actual printers,
right,
to like print all the copies, even if it was like a regular offset printer, and print the copies, and then you got to mail them to everybody, and then hope they get there, and that there's not somebody at the post office that's working for the government that's keeping all the stuff behind. I mean, that's not a conspiracy. They did that to Jimmy Swaggart. The post office took bags and bags and bags and bags of his partner mail and threw them into the bayou because they didn't like his ministry. So the post office literally, and there was prosecution for this, but took bags and bags of his partner mail and just tossed them into the swamps of Louisiana. And they found out later. It was like, there's many steps that you have to get through. Printing the data that you want to, mailing it, making sure it gets to the people, making sure they open it and read it. There's YouTube. It goes around the world instantly.
How many monthly users does YouTube have?
Well, it's the largest search engine aside from Google in the world.
Right.
There's nothing bigger, and Google owns it. So, I mean, they are it. I think the bigger thing for me,
2.7 billion active users
a month.
Yep.
I mean, think about that. Like,
it's insane.
Oh my gosh.
That's more. That's what is that? A third of the world? That's a third of the world's population.
That's insane.
So, but think about this. YouTube will put the clamps on people.
Yep.
Like, they do that. But what a step that was for Elon to buy Twitter,
right?
Rebrand it. Here's what a lot of people don't know, which I think this will be interesting technology-wise and for freedom of speech.